So in this part, I want to try and play some songs. I'm not a drummer. I'm not a musician at all. So please don't judge Dorset art and music based on my arrhythmic performance. But I just want to give you some idea of what I think might be going on here. Remember, the drums are part of a shaman's toolkit. There's these X-ray skeletal motif has been carved onto the drum itself. And I remember as a student, the way the skeletal motif was explained to me was that shaman could actually transform themselves into animals. And the way they would do that would they would strip off their human skin down to their skeleton, and then put on the skin of a bear or a seal or a bird, and in that new form they could go on a shamanic journey. So the skeletal motif, I think, is related to that sort of transformation. The drums, I think, are related to this sort of trance, which again would be part of that transformation. So on the original artifact, there are two skeletal motifs. There's 8 tick marks with a line running through that sort of spinal column. So there's 8 marks here and 8 marks here, again with the spinal column. 2 of those skeletal motifs. But there's actually 13 sets of marks all around the drum frame. Imagine it like the face of a clock, except instead of 12 numbers, there's 13 numbers. And by numbers, I actually mean there's tick marks, gouges carved onto the rim of the drum. Right where the handle attaches, there's 3 marks. 1, 2, 3 little ticks. And then whether you go clockwise or counterclockwise, the next mark is a single mark, and then it's 2 marks, and then 3 marks. And then there's a bit of damage in the original artifact. Skip that for a minute. Then there's 6 marks, and then 8 marks with the spinal column. Counting back down, 8 marks with the spinal column, 6. Again, damage in the same area on the opposite side. 3, 2, 1, and then 3 again on the handle. This area, where the damage is on the original artifact, you can see 3 tick marks, and then a piece of the drum is actually missing. So we know there's at least 3 marks there, and I think it's probably 4. I think there was probably 4 marks, because that seems to fit the sequence. If you're counting up from the handle, you get 1, 2, 3, 4. The next number should be 4. If you start at the top at the 8, minus 2 is 6, minus 2 is also 4. So again, both whether you take the sequence descending or ascending, you arrive at 4 in the middle. So again, I think it's 3 marks, 1 mark, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a mirror image on both sides. I don't think it's accidental that these marks seem to create a sequence. And the impression that I sort of get is that you're building up towards something. And the something that you're building up towards are these skeletal motifs, this moment of transformation, this trance. So it seems, if you interpret those marks musically, it seems like a formula for achieving this trance state. It might be, you might interpret those marks a number of ways. Maybe if you need to accomplish something, if you need to cure someone's sickness, or you need to improve the weather, or you need to call the caribou to you, maybe you play a song once on the first day, twice on the second day, 3 times on the third day, then 4, 6, 8. Maybe that's how you interpret those marks. I think you could also interpret them literally as drum beats. When you play an Inuit drum, if we can use that analogy, you kind of alternate sides. You hit one side of the frame, it rolls, and you hit the other side. So maybe what those marks are showing you is a pattern where you, instead of hitting one side, hitting 1, 1, 1, 1, maybe it's telling you to hit once on one side, once on the other, 2 on one side, 2 on the other, 3 on one side, 3 on the other. So I'll try and play that, see what that might sound like. So what I did there, I sort of laddered it up. I played 3 beats, 1, 1, 2, 2, and so on, up and then down and then up and then down again. What I find when I play this one, it actually gets really confusing down here because you're switching sides really rapidly. And you kind of got this dueling left and right going. It kind of reminds me a little bit of throat singing, where 2 people sing facing each other, and the song is over when somebody cracks up and starts laughing. It's almost a game trying to get through this tricky part down at the bottom to get back up to the rhythm at the top. So I don't know. So that would be one way to interpret those tick marks. I think you could interpret the tick marks a different way. The spacing of the set of symbols is kind of even around the frame. Whether there's 8 marks or a single mark, they're sort of afforded the same amount of space on the frame. So maybe that means one tick or one drum beat should take up as much space as 8. So maybe when you see 8 marks, that means 8 beats. And 1 mark is 1 beat and 7 counts of silence. 2 beats and 6 counts of silence. If you play it like that, it's a little bit slower, but you can almost imagine a heartbeat speeding up and then slowing down and speeding up and slowing down. So I'll try and play that. Just a sec. Start again. So what I tried to do there was go around in the sequence, play 1 beat, 7 moments of silence, 2 beats, 6 moments of silence. Went around and round and around. So even though I do think that those marks are meant to be music, I do think it's meant to be instructions or a recording of how to play the drum. There's so many different ways that you could interpret those marks. I don't know if we'd ever be able to know how to actually play it, but I do think it's interesting. And the dates from Button Point, stylistically, it's late Dorset, which could be any time from 1,500 years ago to 1,000 or just this side of 1,000 years ago. So if this is actually a recording of a written piece of music, I think it would probably be the oldest written piece of music anywhere in Canada, which is kind of cool. It would be neat to hear what other people think. I made these drums for an archaeologist who's also a drummer, so I'm curious to see what other people come up with. Anyways, thank you.